Hello, Sharon.
Hello, Wendy. How are you?
Oh, I'm really well. 2023 has sped so fast, so quick
I
already.
know. Do you believe we're on the 8th, we're in the 3rd week of January? What the hell?
And it's like
The
full,
18th of
full
January.
steam ahead. You know, it really smacked me in the face when I had a client here the other day and I was like, oh, I've got to book you in for 3 weeks. It was like, holy crap, that's February already.
I know.
Like I'm already booking into February.
I know. It's insane, isn't it?
Oh.
It is absolutely insane. I was just talking with a friend yesterday, just how Christmas. I went, oh yeah, the other day I went, oh my God, it's like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
4 weeks ago. Like we're nearly a month ago. We're going into nearly a month.
You know.
From when we were full on getting ready for Christmas.
And I have to declare that I've only just put my Christmas decorations away. They were late coming up and they were late going down.
Well, mine were only up for a week this year and I didn't care. I was like, that week, given all the heavy energy around us, and, you know, we chatted about that last week.
Yeah.
I needed to cleanse, and that's how I'm still feeling. Like, as much as I have my grandson on and off at the moment, I'm feeling that need to cleanse and cleanse and cleanse and cleanse. Yeah. So at the moment, I've got the biggest, ugliest pile of stuff in my garage, but it's nothing like it was.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting stuff out now, so that's great. And I believe the energy shift has had a lot to do with that.
Oh, and you know what? I have someone that I do a lot of work with, and her advice is to go and get 4 buckets. And one is a donate bucket, one is a keep bucket, yes. one's a sell bucket, and one's a throw bucket. And so having those 4 buckets, you can just take those buckets into every room.
Yep.
And do the same thing. And at the same time, you're moving shit out still.
Yes.
So the room's cleansed. You're not still leaving it there because it's like, oh, I'm going to sell that, I'm going to sell that, I'm going to sell that. And it kind of propels you then to do something with it. But, you know, in saying that, she also on her website has, she sells her clothes on her website under a separate tab, so that when she cleans out her season, they all go up there straight away with images for sale.
How great is that?
Yeah. And any of the other things that she wants to you know, that she's no longer got the need for, she pops it up there. Yeah
That's brilliant.
It's a really good idea. But I know that I've got, like, we're looking at a garage sale because as you know, like, we're moving into my new room, which allows me then to go through and get rid of a lot of things. Like, you know, I've got things that are parked up there ready for my yoga room that I've changed, that I no longer want to take in there. Yeah, so now they can go to someone else who can make better use of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's like, I have all these beautiful meditation cushions that I bought, and they used to all be in my tent. But I haven't put my tent up for so long that it's time to actually get it down and sell it, because I've changed.
Yeah.
It's so much easier for me to walk into a venue now, and I've changed in the sense that I wanted to bring everything to those people. Now I tell them in their email when they register to bring their own pillow and blanket.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's more meaningful for them.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm going to a meditation elsewhere, I'll take my Zabaton and my Carpoo pillow and my rug, my shawl, like I always, because, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's summer or winter, I'll take the shawl anyway.
Yeah, because you can get, especially, you know, if you're in an air-conditioned, and I don't know if you're like me, but I find if I'm in air-conditioned, I can get cold very quickly, because I would much prefer the fresh air.
Yeah, and, you know, we're going to talk. You know, I've got the allergy to the cold, so I take a rug with me everywhere. Right.
Yes,
it'll be, you know, 40 degrees, and I'll take a pashmina in the car.
Yep.
Yeah, only because everyone else wants the aircon on really cold, and I don't want to sit there sneezing. So
that's exactly right. Well, that's right. It's that self-care, isn't it? It's knowing what your needs are and what you need to do to look after you.
Absolutely it is. And being real about it.
Yeah.
Don't be, putting up the I'm stoic. I don't need one of
Or
them. I'm going to say,
the
I need one.
being the opposite of, oh, you have to turn the air conditioner off, I'm too cold, whereas everybody else is boiling, like, whereas you go, well, look, the reality is they're probably going to do this, I'm going to look after me.
Yeah. Yep. And it's been happening for so long now.
That's a beautiful way. It's a beautiful reminder, I think, too, Wendy, of looking after yourself in a respectful way, where you're actually taking responsibility for you. Yeah. I really love that. I absolutely love that.
Yep. Yeah. And 2023 really is the year of responsibility.
It absolutely is. I love it. Yes, it is. It's about self-responsibility.
Yeah. Yep.
Taking responsibility for you.
And
I just keep having this nagging. I've got something nagging in my head I need to ask you. When is Mercury retrograde over? What is the 18th? Is it today?
I think it goes direct today, but we're in a shadow. Yeah, it goes direct, tonight. But then there's a shadow. So you have, when there's a retrograde, you have the 2 weeks before, the 2 weeks on, and the 2 weeks post. So I won't be doing anything. And
we've got another 2 weeks. Is that what you're saying?
2 weeks of being cautious. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my take on it. I've always lived that way, where it's still, there's still going to be aspects of that Merc retrograde that will keep me cautious. But that's I mean, that's just how I've been educated on it too. So and who knows whether that's right or wrong.
I'm not even going to argue that, because I have no bloody idea, which is why I asked you.
Yeah.
I don't get into all of that. I leave that sort of stuff up to the experts, and I just ask other people. I go, so how does that work? What am I being affected by? That's one of those things I go, that's over there for someone else to worry about.
Yeah, and it's interesting, because we were talking about New Year's resolutions.
Yes, which is why, next great segue.
Yeah, the amount of people that I've spoken to that aren't setting New Year's resolutions, and like I said to you before, I think we've all changed so much in the fact that we're not more. It's not about, my New Year's resolution at midnight is that I want to lose 10 kilos, or or I want to, earn 100,000 or whatever it is. Those resolutions, like, I haven't heard of anyone making those resolutions. It's about, on a daily basis being better than what we were the day before. And more, if there was any resolution at all, it would be living with awareness and practicing more self-love, because when you set those intentions, like that, you set the resolution of losing 10 kilos or something else that you want to change, isn't that you're not it's showing you aspects of life that you're not really happy with. But when we come to that part of self-acceptance, something changes within us that all of that falls away anyway. So when we accept ourselves and love ourselves the way that we're supposed to love ourselves and the way that the divine loves us, there's nothing wrong with us. And so that sumo suit that we may have been holding on to, or for me, it's a Bridgestone radial, that tends to be released.
That's a tire for anyone that doesn't know.
Yeah, that we're holding on to that because of something that isn't feeling right, and we're not loving on ourselves enough. And loving on ourselves enough, there's a variety of ways. It might be, our environment, and making sure, like we're talking about, decluttering. A cluttered environment is a cluttered mind, and that's one of the things. A cluttered desk is a cluttered mind. You can never be really have clarity around what you're doing if there's so much chaos. It might be energetically that there's a time to be able to let go of some of that stuff, and having really good energy is practicing our own having really good energy, but making sure that we're ably protecting ourselves from energies that may be directed toward us.
Yes.
It's being responsible for, really good water, for supplementation, for really good, choosing our foods, nourishing our temple the way that we need to nourish our temple, not on fast food or something that's simple and easy, because quite often we're doing that to punish ourselves, not in a loving way. And then that contributes to, us holding on extra weight, that then we punish ourselves more because we feel guilty and we feel shame and we feel resentment towards it, regret, all that stuff. They're all things that lead to us holding on to even more, because we become then in a cycle, don't we? Like, I've stuffed up, so bugger it, I've stuffed up again, and we become that way. So rather than holding on to those resolutions that are back there, that I need to lose that 10 kilos, how about I just need to practice more self-love?
I know, and I really would love to hear from you out there. Have you actually set a New Year's resolution? And if you have, and maybe you haven't this year, but in the past you have, I'm really interested to know, how has that helped you previously? Is that why you didn't set them this year? I think for me this year is, I probably realised that I didn't need to overhaul my life. I mean, that's actually happened over the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years for us anyway. We've all had a life overhaul, whether we like to believe it or not. And that, I think, probably one of the things we've learnt, that didn't just happen on the 1st of January. Things have happened progressively throughout the last few years, that it can happen anytime, any day. We can choose when or not we want to make those changes. I think that's a really important thing. If you decide that you want to create some goals or some resolutions, if you want to call them that, or if you just want to create some motivation for yourself, at the end of the day, choose the time that's right for you. Like, and that's why I asked you about the Mercury retrograde, Wendy. I don't get into the depth of it, but I certainly follow it. And I'm aware that, that's not a good time to do things. And so I'm very much aware at the moment. I'm creating some courses for my online learning centre, and I'm mindful not to launch them during that time.
Yes.
Because they're those sorts of things that, and that can be part of a goal or a resolution or whatever, but moving with that, also the moon cycles will help you. And look, there's a lot of very strong research out there that actually documents that it is demonstrated that does work. Like if you sign something important during that time, or set that goal or whatever, you most likely will fail with it. And so what's right for you? Pick the time that's right for you. Like, I think that's what's really important. Like, how does it feel inside? Because I'm a feeler as well. So how does it feel inside to you? Does that feel like this is really good? And you and I, we had this chat last week off air, and I even mentioned to you this morning, I don't know what it was you've said to me. I don't know what it was that went, aha. But it's like, and look, it has helped that the energy has changed as well. The energy has got lighter. But it was like, right. And it's like I flipped my energy and changed. So I'm going to start looking at different habits, different ways of doing things. You mentioned about cleaning out. I decided that today for the rest of the week, I can actually do a little bit of work. But before I started that work, I've decided I'm cleaning out my office. This will be the first time where I'm actually back in my office for the year. Isn't that better than setting a resolution that you're actually not going to maybe achieve, or beat yourself up because you haven't done or got where you wanted to go with it? Whereas cleaning my office will just give me a nice clean slate to actually start my office for the year.
Yeah, good on you. And I like, it's not just, I didn't want to start anything new in Mercury retrograde. And again, I'm a feeler. It just didn't feel right. And then on top of that, I follow human design. So human design says that it's not until sort of the end of this week, or over the weekend, that so human design is based on gates.
I was going to say, can you just let people know?
And look, I'm not an expert on human design. There are wonderful people out there that are. I just love to follow it, and I love to put as much of it into practice as what I can, because I've seen how things can change, because I understand myself a little bit more. But yeah, so the gates change. We go into a different gate, which means that that's technically the new year then. And so that's when I will go full steam ahead with everything that I'm planning on. But the other thing too is that we get so hung up on the resolutions of what we don't have, instead of taking some time to really spend on doing the dare to dream. Like actually sitting down and go through what it is that you really want. Like, what do you really want, rather than what societal norms are? What is it that you want, and what are you prepared to do to get that? Because it will change. It will require change of some sort, or effort, whether you're putting in the effort already, or you need to put more effort or change a little bit, tweak a little bit of what you're doing so you get the desired result. But I think that we're in a space now where we want to remove the toxins. We want to remove the toxic from our lives, in the form of our physical environment space, our foods, our relationships, our circumstances. We want to remove the toxins, and we want to go on to something that's more cleansed and allows us to feel lighter in our being. And that's this, when we were talking about the change in the energy, it does feel lighter now. It does. Totally does. It was feeling really bogged down, whereas now it's feeling a little bit lighter, and those things that we probably put on hold because it was feeling so heavy, we're feeling now that the time is right for us to maybe step into what we really want to do.
And look, if it's still not even right for you out there, you've got to, I think it's really important. And Wendy just really stressed about that. And I can't stop stressing about that. When is it right for you? Because it's right for me now to get in my office and clean it up and get ready to start my working back for the year. Doesn't mean it's right for somebody else. Wendy and I both, we often talk about this. We often talk about it not in a new year perspective, but just in where she's at, where I'm at, that's right for her. This is right for me. It's really, I think, what we've got to go back to the basics and look at, is it achievable? Is it taking what Wendy said to the next step in dreaming bigger, but also being grateful for what we currently have? Where did we come from? I know if I look back from where I came from, holy hell, I'll be celebrating for a year just doing that. I was a young country girl that came to the big city and had dreams and aspirations to do. I'm not really sure. I think originally it was to meet this really wealthy man and have a wonderful life. I met my wealthy man, and then I found out that he wasn't so wealthy, but I was already in love with him, and by then it was too late and I was going anywhere anyway, and managed to spend the rest of my life with him and having a wonderful fun time together, but also taking the time out for myself. What's right for me? What's my schedule look like? This is my race. This is my journey. What makes sense for me? And you also touched on, Wendy, about the human design for you has taught you, and I don't know enough about that. I've touched on that with you in our mastermind that I did with you. But I think that the key point is, when you know yourself better, you will actually understand your needs and your wants, and the goal setting and the resolutions will not become as necessary, because you will understand you a very different way. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yeah, for sure. And in in saying that, I think by exploring all of these different aspects, it helps us be more purposeful, because, you know, you touched on there, like the mastermind, and the mastermind does kick off again on the 1st of February, but it's less hustle and putting good foundations in, so that, you know, as solopreneurs, and we have a lot of people that, you know, maybe listening to this now that are doing that, and they're in the daily grind. So January, they have gone, you know, everything's been thrown at them. You know, you've got to set these goals, you got to do this, you got to do that. And they've really been moved away from being in the present moment, which is like right now. And they've got kids home from school, you know, on school holidays. They've got, you know, maybe their partner has taken some leave, and because they're the solopreneur, they think that I really have to hustle. I really, like, my day hasn't, you know, I can't have a day off in January.
Yeah.
And that's why we're starting Mastermind on the 1st of Feb, because of that overwhelm of having to juggle everything. I want people to be on purpose. I want people to feel as though they can be present, that they can prioritize their loved ones over you know, being in that hustle, because it's, you know, it's a delicate balance, and we just need to be really, you know, some people don't even know what their purpose is.
Yeah, and look,
and so, you know, the mastermind will help you with that too, but it's about making sure that this path that and you're the same as me, the path that we move into with being a solopreneur, a business owner, a small business owner, is not to be a liability. It's not to be something that we don't enjoy. We do this because we have a gift to give to someone. We need to enjoy the journey. We do. And sometimes the enjoyment is taken out of it.
Yes. And I think last year I did the mastermind with you, and it was, you know, we often talk about how I grew, and my business is in a totally different place. It's very different to what it looked like before. And when I'm ready to relaunch it again, you'll also see it's very different again. And I'm continually growing. But surrounding yourself with your supporters, and I think that was one of the big things I also experienced in the mastermind. I had my own personal cheer squad that would cheer me on, and the women that were in that mastermind with us, and Wendy as well, obviously driving us. I literally, and it was a virtual one. So we created this incredible group that we are all still such good friends, and I know I could reach out to any one of them. Yeah. And so I know we're talking about resolutions and goals, but Wendy, if somebody wants to join up to your mastermind or want to know some more information about your mastermind, you know, maybe quickly just let them know how they can do that, because we all need to surround ourselves with our supporters, I'm going to call them, with our cheer squad, with our buddies that are going to lift us up. Especially, I know many a times, you know, one of us, it could have been sometimes there was 4 or 5 of us that all came to that mastermind group and were probably being affected by Mercury retrograde, because last year it smashed us. But we had each other to lift us back up and to remind us how precious we were and the importance of our friendship. And as soulpreneurs, as Mandy said, Mandy, I don't know where I got that from, Wendy. You know, it can become a very lonely journey. And so you need to make sure that you do look after yourself by surrounding you, whether that's in a workplace, whether that's home. I mean, if you're at home and you've got someone constantly telling you doom and gloom and that you're not good enough, well, eventually you're going to be looking at yourself in the mirror and you're going to be feeling the same. And you need to, you know, well, they say you are a reflection of 5 people that you surround yourself with.
That's exactly right. But, you know, the mastermind is great for, you know, you know, for solopreneurs and you know, women or anyone who wants to have that support. But in saying that, the support that you get there, everyone, even if you set a New Year's resolution, you still need to have support around you to be able to get that, you know, because you set a resolution doesn't mean you have to go it alone, is what I'm trying to say. Is that we need to have support around us, irrespective of what it is that we choose in life.
You absolutely do.
And I love the mastermind because I think that it grows people in emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and financially in their business. Like it gives them so much more by being in that container, and that's the beauty of it. So anyone who's interested, you can either DM me on Instagram, look me up, Wendy Parker _ Sheer Relief, or send me an email.
Even through the Self-Love Summit stuff, you'll be able to find us. So. Yeah,
for sure. You know, just leave a comment on it on this podcast, and I'll reach out to you and send you through the information. But it's one of those things that it's not this isn't a push for the mastermind, sure, but it's talking about making sure that you have people in your corner. We need to have people in our corner.
That's right. Wendy has her business mastermind. So that's for entrepreneurs or somebody that's got a small business, or, you know, wanting to grow their business or start their business, etc. I also then have my soul membership, which is for the person. It's for that community group, that connection. And again, you know, same as Wendy, DM me if you're interested or you want to know more information. And they're there. Both of those groups are there for us to be those, us and the other people, the other members, because I can assure you, Wendy was a great support, but so were my other peers that were in that membership. And that's like my soul membership. I find that the people in the group are reaching out and supporting each other. And that's a really important thing. Plus, often they have some great advice they can share with you, or they can, when you're feeling discouraged, you know, you might have set some boundaries or resolutions for yourself or some goals and you're struggling to meet them. Well, that's also going to happen, but you need a safety net there to reach out to. And it could be your family members, you know, either of these memberships, it may not, that was not the idea, was to plug our stuff, but it just happened. But reach out to somebody. You might have a community group. You might have a workplace group. Your family may be a great support. You may have a church group. Whatever works for you. We just encourage you to make sure that whoever's in that group, whoever's your support person, literally has your back.
Yeah. And don't forget that you've got our Self-Love Summit Facebook group and Instagram that you can reach out at any time. The Facebook group is a great community group that you can join. But at the end of the day, it really is like playing a game of 10-pin bowling. Just make sure you got someone like us as your bumpers.
Yep.
You
That's
know,
it. That's
you
it.
just want to get where you want to go. We're just the bumpers that help you get there. That's all.
It's about not doing it alone.
Yeah. Yep.
It's about, you know, making yourself not necessarily accountable, but hey, I've done this. Can you help me stay on track?
Yeah. Or I've written this. Can you cast your eye over it just to, you know, that it makes sense? Or, you know, I really want to do this. Can you have a look at it to make sure that I'm going to, it's going to work in my favor? Because sometimes, you know, I've had people reach out personally and they've gone to sign up for something that's way a lot of money, and they've gone, I don't know if it's for me. And so all it is having another set of eyes that can go, okay, you need to ask yourself some critical questions there, you know, because, you know, at the end of the day, we have, it's self-responsibility, but we want to have self-responsibility with a little bit of help on the side.
Yeah. Because really, at the end of the day, if you stop and actually dive deep into times that are good for you to make change in your life, and resolutions are making change, is really the 1st of January, the first of the year, is that like the best time? Are you still either fatigued from last year or trying to get some clarity for this year? So think about when's the best time for you, because you don't want to set yourself up for failure before you even start.
Yeah, I think you've got to fill your cup up first, and then you can get whatever it is that you want to achieve in 12 months, for the next 12 months.
And again, if you have to break it down in little steps, in bite-sized steps.
Yeah.
And celebrate those bite-sized steps. That's really important. Yeah. It's no different to setting out a SMART goal. If you're in the workplace, and those of you that aren't familiar with that, if you were setting out in a workplace on how you were going to set out the goals for the year of the business to achieve all your financial requirements, you would have to have a plan. It's a path. Well, that is all you really need to do for the new year, have a path. And if that path means sitting in the park for the first month or two, sit in the park. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Do you?
That's it. That's exactly it. I know of a friend who's she's got her own business, and she does some modeling and stuff, and her new year has started with retreats and just enjoying life, filling her bucket, so that then she's brimming from the top for when she wants to give out for the rest of the year.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing too. So I'm actually, I said last year, after being so busy, I was taking the summer off. And I'm not taking the full summer off, but I've been so grateful, because there for a long time we really didn't have a summer. But the last few weeks has been incredible, and I've been at school holidays with my grandson, out in the pool every day, out in the sunshine. My husband's away at the moment, so he usually runs the dogs every day. I've been up walking them. They don't get what he gives them, but anyway, I'm out there. I'm out there in that morning fresh air, doing, what I have to, but making it enjoyable for myself as well. And so it comes back to filling my cup.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it is about. That's what living is all about, isn't it? It's you got to enjoy it. The minute it becomes a drag is the minute that you walk away from probably something that's been your passion all the time, and whether that be it's your job or it's your family or whatever it is. The minute it becomes such a drain and a drag, and it becomes less enjoyable, it's very difficult to jump back into it then.
And we talked about that last year. I was done. I wore myself out. I burned myself out. I was exhausted. I was literally walking away. I was going to go back and get a job.
Yeah.
I was going to walk away from my business that I had busted my ass with. But now I'm not setting goals. I'm not putting demands on myself. I'm actually just taking every day. Back what Wendy mentioned earlier, I'm being present. I'm just being in the moment. I'm taking time for me, and not everybody can do that, because obviously you might be back at work, you're straight into it. Life's busier than it ever was before, and I'm speaking to a lot of people where that's happening too. I have a lot of clients that are actually struggling at the moment because they are back into it. It's like they don't even feel like they've had a breath from last year. It's like basically they finished up, they had Christmas, they had New Year, they're straight back into it, and they're busier than they ever were before. So what bad habits have you brought into the new year? What do you need to let go of where you're actually making self-care your priority every single day? And it can't just be, once a month it's my self-care. No, it has to be every day. I would hope that you would get up and brush your teeth at least once, and more than likely twice or 3 times a day. Whatever works for you, whatever you do. Yeah. That's a thing that you do to help preventively protect you for good health.
Yeah.
Self-care is good health.
Yeah, my answer is. And, you know, if it is that it's a drag and you've gone back to work, I know when in my corporate life, for January, I used to go into work and I used to run a team and I used to travel all the time, but I would go into work in January. And for me, it was still, yeah, we have to be here and we have to do this stuff, but let's enjoy it. Let's be present with each other and make it so. And, you know, you can go in there and think it's a drag, or you can go in there and think, you know what, I still got to get that done, but I'm here to enjoy these people and this time of year, because it still is a beautiful time of year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're here in Australia, you're in the summer. And so we've had some crazy weather.
Oh, haven't we what?
I know. It is absolutely, it's been as crazy as COVID, really. But it doesn't mean that you haven't stopped going to work. It doesn't mean that you haven't stopped living your life. You've still worked your way around that. I had a crazy thing happen to us a few weeks ago. My husband was out running the dog on his motorbike and got hit by bloody lightning. And I don't know if I even told you that, Wendy.
I'm like, what?
I know, right? And I was actually standing in the kitchen and saw it happen. Saw him be what I thought was thrown off his bike. It blew up his headphones that he had on, and which probably saved his life. And it was crazy, because that's the kind of crazy storms we've been having around at the moment. And
wow.
I know. But I told him, did it knock you smarter or dumber? We don't know. We're still analysing that.
Stop it, Sharon.
And look, he was okay. Like I have a photo that I'm eventually going to post where he walked inside and I said, let me just take a photo of you in case you drop dead now. And I know. We've got a bit of a weird relationship, hubby and I. We've got both pretty weird sense of humour. And his eyes, and I sent it to my kids and went, your dad's just been hit by lightning. But it was also a real reminder how precious our life is. I mean,
yeah.
weeks ago, that was, just 2 weeks ago, and it could have been a very different end to what it was. Thankfully,
my God, I didn't know. I really didn't know.
I actually forgot about it. I forgot to tell you. But yeah, look, that's the things that can happen, to come into your life and throw yourself into chaos. But you deserve enough in your own life to make sure that you try and get it back on track for you, because you just never know when your plans of life are going to change, and you have to look after yourself in a different way. But if you have a self-care regime in place that is something you do every day about caring for you, I think it becomes a normal plan. And I believe, my personal belief is that it actually changes your attitude. It changes your mindset as well.
Yeah. And it's about making a choice, and that's the self-responsibility, or everyone going responsible for themselves. It's because everything is a choice, and for every choice that we make, there's a consequence. And so, if we're going to make a choice that it's going to be a shitty day, the consequence is you're going to have a shitty day, and it's up to us then to change that. So, at the end of the day, it is a choice, and we just need to be. We need to be our own best friend. We need to be there's so much that we need to do for ourselves, but it doesn't have to be an exerted effort where you have to axe out a day in your diary to be able to do it. It's like, okay, I just need to have a little shift in the way. And you know what? You said it before, it starts and ends with gratitude.
It absolutely does. It really does. And the more grateful you are in life, the better in life. There will be times where you will have those peaks and troughs, and I absolutely can vouch for that myself. That's all part of our mental wealth, our mental health, our mental wellness.
Yep.
But when I'm having that mental slump, I'm going to call it, the quickest way for me to get out of that is go and journal, go and do a meditation, listen to something motivational.
Yeah.
And motivational for me may be very different motivational to you. Put on some great music. Music has, and there's so much research around music, how it totally can change your attitude and your mindset.
And your frequency and your energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know we rattle on about this a lot, but if you don't take responsibility for your own self-care, you have to take responsibility for the outcomes that you're treating yourself poorly. And again, I mention this often to my clients, and I have on this podcast. Would you treat your best friend the way you're treating yourself?
Mm. Yeah. And it's making a decision to choose joy. If all we do is every day is choose joy, it doesn't matter whether you got to go to work, you can still choose joy.
Yeah, maybe add that to your New Year's resolution, huh?
Yeah.
Joy, peace.
Choose joy. What makes you happy? What brings you joy? And it doesn't have to be that you have to end a relationship, or you have to change your job, or you have to starve yourself. That's not joy.
It's the best time to do it right now when you're already feeling like you're struggling anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So if right in this moment, bringing you joy would be at the end of your day to go for a walk on the beach. If you can't get to a beach, remember that the change in the energy will always happen with just the walk.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And out in nature.
If bringing you joy means going and sitting out on the back veranda and having a glass of wine, do it. But be mindful of how much you drink, because obviously from someone that used to drink quite a lot to now someone that doesn't drink very much at all, you need to be, that's a whole new other health issue that you could be facing. And maybe that's part of your resolution. Instead of sitting out the front having a wine 5 days a week, I'll do it 4 days a week.
Or you can sit out there 5 days a week, but you can change your drink.
That's right.
It might be that you might enjoy a cider. And I know now that I don't get off on having, I just can't do hangovers. I'm just getting too old. But I love to have the non-alcoholic ciders. And they are I'll sit down and have one with, everyone else thinks I'm having a drink.
Yeah.
But I am having a drink. Yeah. But I'm just choosing for it not to be filled with anything.
Yeah. What is it doing for your body? And that's actually how I stopped drinking. Apart from the fact that every time I had an alcoholic drink, Spirit, it was a bit of a joke, because I'd said to Spirit I needed to, the more spiritual work I was doing, I needed to cut back on my alcohol intake. And so they did that all right. I became allergic to alcohol, and literally allergic to it. So everything I drank, and trust me, I'm telling you, I tried everything that I liked because I was persistent. But every time I did, I would ended up breaking out in a rash and scratching and itchy, and it was crazy. But I started.
Wow.
It was madness. And eventually I ended up with a rash all over my body. And that was, if you look in those books that we often talk about, the wellness books on how to, assist with, why there's a rash. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. It's as simple as it is. It doesn't matter how I try and want to fight that or look at it differently or take it on a different journey. That's how it was. And so I wasn't happy with my skin, which obviously was connected to alcohol, because who was I being when I was, drinking? And so I started to get creative in my drinks. And people were thinking I was having wonderful drinks, and I was just having often, very often, my favorite drink to start with was tonic water with mint and cucumber. I loved it.
Yeah.
And people used to think I was having a gin and tonic, one of my favorite old drinks. Yeah. And now I've got bottles of gin in my cupboard that I don't drink anymore. But you just start with little things that work for you. Don't start with the things that are going to give you stress.
And Wayne Dyer always says the best way to give up anything is just to do it one day. It might be just put it off for 5 minutes, and he spoke specifically about smoking at one of the things that at the conferences I went to with him. Just put off having that smoke for 5 more minutes, for 5 more minutes, for 5 more minutes, go to bed, wake up in the morning, put it off for 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, go to bed. And before you know it, the putting off of that 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, it becomes days upon days upon days, and you've actually nailed it. And that's the same as anything. It's the same, like just don't open that can
Yes.
Just don't drink that, just put that wine, opening that bottle of wine, just put that off for 5 more minutes, an hour, 2 hours.
And we used to talk about that when I used to say to you, when I would work often 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning when I'd be working. If I just went to bed, I would find I wouldn't eat. But if I was sitting up all those hours, all of a sudden I was wanting to snack. And so I would have to literally take myself to bed to stop myself from eating.
But when you have a look at it from the outside in, you're staying up all those hours working. Your body's saying,
exactly,
I need the energy from food. I need the energy from food. Not I need food because of any other reason, but to sustain you to be able to continue to do that and sit in front of a computer and do that kind of work. Like
so go to bloody bed and sleep.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, we get all the cues that we need.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all within us. Like all the cues where none of it is it's not something that's hidden.
No,
it's all there. We just got to recognize it, and that's about the responsibility again. So
look at me, and I had rashes. My body was literally smothered in rashes, so severe that I would scratch, and my husband and my family used to get angry. When I'd wear my linen pants, all I had to do was knock my leg and my linen pants were smothered in red blood. I got to the stage I couldn't wear linen. The sheets, all my sheets were becoming stained with blood because I would scratch. Yeah, it was crazy. I literally was scratched from head to toe. And I would my arms were just, nothing here now, but literally, if you had seen them, I had to wear tops that covered them because I had shredded my body.
Okay. So is that because you kept pushing to try and get, like, you didn't want to acknowledge that it was an allergy to the alcohol and that you wanted to keep pushing through?
I just kept drinking.
Yeah.
And so eventually over time, and I did use my Louise Hay and my Secret Language of Your Body, and they have a lot of, your affirmations and your symptoms and what you need to do in there. And I did a lot of work through that on loving my body again, and managed to, I still get bits and pieces because I still do have a drink every now and then. I still like to do that. I will often more reach for something else though. But every now and then I still want to be, I don't know, that old person. I don't know. I can't describe it. And so I break out. There still might be that bit of thing where I notice now that I take nothing. I don't take any medication whatsoever, but I will scratch my skin and, obviously it's been through trauma. And so I will easily break the skin and bleed. But even I got to the state where my grandson would say something and I literally knew I had to do something about it.
Yeah, wow.
I set on a journey of healing myself and I did it.
Yep. Yeah. Again, it's just being responsible and owning it and just doing what needs to be done, isn't it?
It is. It's about, it comes back to that self-love and that self-care.
Yeah.
And how much do you want to make that change?
Yeah. Do you know?
And is it right for me now?
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's nothing nicer than, for me, doing the self-care is just making a cuppa in the afternoons and going out and sitting and watching the sunset.
Yeah. Yep. And sometimes, as crazy as this sounds, self-care for me, and I have lots of different types of self-care. I love to do that. We have the most incredible sunsets here. Because we're on some acreage, so you don't have all the lights, the sky at night, to watch the stars. And so you do have that nice clear path. But sometimes just actually on my tablet, my iPad, playing the dumbest game I've got. My husband just can't believe that I play this game. And it is the dumbest game. But an hour on that, just numbing my mind, sometimes it's really good for me as well.
Isn't that, yeah. It is. It's something that you don't have to think.
No. I can totally shut myself off. And all I have to do is move the colours to match.
But it's people's thoughts that drive them crazy. That's what causes you anxiety and your depression and all those things. So, you know, if you can put a disruptor in there, even if it is what you class a silly game, it's still a disruptor. It's still taking you away from, and your thoughts are on something else rather than on.
That's right. When I'm doing that, I'm thinking of nothing about except matching the colours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't always, and I'm probably the slowest. I've probably been one of the longest people using this game, but the slowest person getting anywhere with it. You know, I'm so low down in the ranks, but I don't care. It's not about the game. It's not about winning. It's not about anything. That just shuts my mind totally off.
Yeah.
It's one of the ways. I have lots of different ways. Yeah. And I think that's the important part of self-care, having all those different ways that you can go to, because not all the time you want to journal, not all the time you want to meditate. I need to meditate twice a day, but some people, they can't do that.
Yeah, so exactly.
Be like an octopus, have all those different tentacles going out that you can reach out to whatever you feel like doing at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to bring you joy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Come back to creating a new year filled with joy.
Yeah.
That's more important than anything else at all.
That's exactly right. It is. I think it's really important. I think that we really do need to have a bit of an emphasis on enjoying life instead of not enjoying life. And you know, we're a bloody long time dead.
Oh, and do we even come back? Who knows? If you believe in reincarnation, which I do.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like we're here, but for a short time. We're an awful long time dead. So make sure that you enjoy what it is that brings you joy now.
Yes, don't be here and be miserable.
No, that's exactly it. On that note, surround yourself with, and relationships are really important. Yeah. Surround yourself with the cheer squad and the people that love you and the people that you love back. You know,
exactly.
So on that note, we might
wrap it up.
Yeah, and we will definitely put where you can contact us in our notes. Have a look for us on Instagram, on if you want us to be your cheer squad, join us on Facebook in our Facebook group. Don't forget we're definitely on YouTube, and of course our podcast, you can get it on Spotify. So we would love to have you join us on any of those platforms. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear, is there anything that you want us to go over a little bit more, that you'd love to hear us sit here and chinwag about, because that's ultimately what we do, which is very real.
I know, and we go down rabbit holes and we come back up and we go back down, and you know, that's just Wendy and I, and when we have a normal conversation, that's exactly what we do.
Yeah. Yep. These are just very real conversations. There's nothing planned in any of them.
No, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, keep scrolling, and if you like it, give us a like. Let us know you're out there.
Yeah, for sure. On that note, thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Wendy. Big hugs, everybody. Bye for now. Bye.